How would you describe YeshID to them in 20 seconds or less?
The most user-intuitive IAM platform.
Yoan, that's high praise. Tell me more. Why is it the most intuitive?
Hi, my name is Yoan Holder, and I'm the technical director here at the Theater Center. And my role pretty much focuses on our IT, our backend technical aspects of the building, some facilities management, and making sure all of our shows happen.
Can you tell me a bit more about what your IT footprint looks like?
Well, it's pretty much a one-man IT department. Um, so when we onboard new staff, making sure they get all access to everything that they need to have a successful time here at the theater. When we onboard freelancers, making sure they have the correct access to help us out with what we've hired them for, and just making sure that all of our productions can continue to happen, whether or not that is our ArtNet lighting network, our networked sound systems, our cafe, our POS systems, or our Google Workspace.
Can you tell me a bit more about what your users use? Do they use a lot of SaaS apps? Is it mainly Google Workspace?
We're mainly a Google Workspace Slack kind of company. So most of the things that we use are on Google Workspace directly, Google Docs, Sheets. We also do use Slack for internal team communication. And we also use a few other apps like Stripe and Square to manage payments internally, along with SendGrid and MailChimp for email and marketing communications.
What was it like for you to do your job managing IT for the entire theater company? What kind of headaches were you dealing with before YeshID came into the picture?
Our entire onboarding and offboarding process was a Google Doc that everybody would take a look at when somebody joined or left the team and complete their tasks or not complete their tasks. It wasn't a very streamlined process. It was a bit more of a lengthy process just because it wasn't on the top of everyone's priority list. We would usually know about a week before somebody would start, or in the case of freelancers, maybe a couple days before, depending on when contracts are signed. And that would trigger myself to create an account manually and then send off a message to the other staff responsible for secondary account creation or adding users onto other platforms, and just make sure and bug them throughout the week. Or if something gets missed, make sure that I read Slack and be like, oh, I can't access XYZ, or I can't access this shared drive.
Yeah, that's doc ops, as I would like to term it, probably. If you were onboarding someone that wasn't a regular full-time employee, before YeshID, what would that process look like?
Well, it would start with a conversation between myself and or the department that is hiring the contractor or freelancer, and just making sure I know which platforms they need access to, when they need access to those platforms, what kind of privileges they should get within our Google Workspace tenant. Um, and YeshID really helped to solidify those into multiple onboarding and offboarding templates. So when we onboarded our summer students, it was we weren't using YeshID yet, so it was just like the old process of using the Google Sheet, making sure I knew that they needed access to MailChimp or Slack, but only specific channels of Slack, or only our marketing shared drive, but not our all staff shared drive. When I first brought it in, the other staff were questioning, like, what is this platform? Like, how is it going to be useful? And then when we went to actually offboard our 3 summer students, our director of facilities and our managing director were like, wow, this is like quite simple. Like, they just got a Slack notification and they did their task, the check bar completed, and that was that. It was so easy and so clean, just a few clicks, and their accounts were archived.
You mentioned Slack before in terms of chat ops. It seems like a lot of things that happen at the company are done through that, which I think is probably an improvement from having a doc. How was chat ops helpful in that offboarding piece?
So as soon as I triggered a offboarding template within YeshID, the staff responsible for each task within that template got a notification, and they were able to complete that super quickly.
How have things changed for you and your team now after using it?
Well, I'm no longer stressed about new staff joining and making sure that I do my part. And that really helps me and the rest of our team. We just know what needs to happen in which order to make sure that everyone's experience of joining our team is the smoothest as it can be.
Which features have been the most valuable for your team?
For the rest of our team, the Slack notifications for onboarding templates, that has been the #1 feature that they've loved. For myself as an admin, the UI to look at what scopes have been granted per account is fantastic. I know that Google provides it, but the YeshID implementation and UI is much, much better. And it's just much easier to see the scope of what's been granted and the accounts that people have linked and what I need to make sure to close if people leave our team.
How would you describe YeshID to them in 20 seconds or less?
The most user intuitive IAM platform.
Yoan, that's high praise. Tell me more. Why is it the most intuitive?
The UI flow of getting a task done is so easy to understand and to work through without any prior knowledge. Tools like Okta or any other of our SSO platforms, they're definitely geared towards having the institutional knowledge or being geared towards a multi-person team of getting things done, approvals, account creation, just even the way the UI is laid out. And YeshID really simplifies that into a streamlined process for getting tasks done. It's definitely geared towards being much more user-friendly, understandable, and generally accessible in terms of the terms, the UI, how everything is built, and how people use the platform. Google Workspace and the admin console are great if you have the knowledge and the skill set to work them. The YeshID is great if you are a small business and you don't have an IT team and you need to onboard somebody and automate tasks like that.
Is there anything else you would like to leave us with? Anything you would love the world to know about YeshID that you're like, we didn't get to cover, but people need to know about this?
I'm not really sure, but I just want to say thank you for making this product. It's been fantastic, and we're happy to use it.